let's start with why you're here. So, what's your story? What brought you here? And it can be your life story in a nutshell. It can, in that sense, be anything.
Mm,
So just what feels fitting for you to share right now based on why you're here.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, the main story actually is that I think it was 4 or 5 years ago that
Hmm.
I got an idea about what I wanted to do with my life. Um, and like, there are many things that I like to do, but this is like the big thing. And the big thing has a name, and it's called Rivendell. And Rivendell is a place where people who get stuck in their personal development processes because they lost their home, money, friends, or whatever, that they have a place to go where there's
Mm.
where you can do your own thing if you can, but there's also care available if you need it. And the
Beautiful.
fun thing is that I ended up with cancer, and right now I need the thing that I created a few years ago for myself because
Mm.
I'm sick
Mm.
and yeah, I started cancer treatment actually with no um, people around me to take care of me. At the moment, I'm in a temporary home.
There,
Few more.
there. You froze. So last
Oh,
thing I
sorry.
heard was temporary home.
Ah, yeah. Um, uh,
Now I'm in a temporary home.
yeah. So I'm in a sort of a really big challenge about how am I going to do this? And the only thing, the only way is not think about it. Just
Mm.
be with what's at the moment and don't worry about not knowing where I'm going to stay from next week on. But in reality, that's quite an impossible thing to do.
Mm. Hmm.
So yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
Wow. That's where you
Yeah,
are. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's where you are. So what do you believe at this moment? Or is there even
Um,
any belief at this moment?
yeah, I believe that this is a way for me to learn and to really observe what is going on. How do you take care of people?
Hmm.
Uh, it's an immense opportunity to yeah practice myself in doing the thing that I've always wanted to do.
Hmm.
The only yeah, but doing that from a position where I'm the patient. Of course, I never expected that that was the way to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, it's a strange way. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, but it's my way apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
the thing that I believe. Um, but yeah, of course, there are lots of fears.
yeah. 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 And if you couldn't access the past or the future, so if
Hmm.
there was no past or future, if you cannot go with your thoughts back to the future, back
Hmm.
to the past and into the future,
Sorry, now you froze.
why for us?
Yeah.
Um, Fourth, access the past and access and go into the future with your thoughts, right?
Hmm.
If you cannot do that, what do you believe at this moment?
Well, at this moment, I'm talking to you, and when I'm talking to people, I always sort of feel okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And is there a belief or not even?
Um, Yeah, there's a belief that right now I'm doing exactly the thing that I need to do, and that's it.
Okay, right now you're doing exactly the thing you need to do. Okay. So what are you without even that belief of that you're doing right now exactly what you need to do? So even that belief, what are you without actually beliefs?
Without that belief, I'm just emptiness.
Hmm. And what is in between emptiness and not emptiness?
Um, there's probably
Hmm.
creation of belief.
Mhm. And creation? What is in between creation?
Um, time, I would say.
Let's take it further. What is in between time and no time?
Uh, hmm. Uh, I'm tempted to say God. I don't believe in God, but that's
Okay.
the best word.
So what is in between God and no God?
Uh, um, hmm. I don't know,
You don't know.
because for something like God to exist, first there has to be a human who believes in.
Let's go to the human. Let's go to you. What is in
Hmm.
between me and no me?
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I don't know too.
No. Yeah.
And how is it in that not knowing?
Um, yeah. That's the kind of knowing that's similar to surrender, to just be.
And is it even knowing?
Yeah, it's knowing without knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is that? How is it there? How is it here?
And for me, there's such a big difference in. Um, it's easy for me to to just be when I feel that I'm connected to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this moment, I'm connected to you,
Mm-hmm.
and at other
Mm-hmm.
moments, I'm connected to other people or to
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
That those are the easy moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And just in between, like I don't hear you super well. Sometimes I hear you louder and sometimes less. So it feels like you're a bit away from the mic. It seems because sometimes the volume is up with for your from your voice and sometimes lower.
Mm,
Now I hear you like I see also the green thing going to you. So sometimes I
okay.
hear you a bit louder and sometimes less. Then it's difficult to hear you. I have you on max volume though.
Mm,
So just saying that. So but even what you just said, like the thing about connection, even that is a belief.
yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and what are you without that belief?
Um,
What are you without these words, right?
mm,
What are you
yeah.
without what are you without any language?
Yeah. there's one huge word, me, me without connection, me without words, me without other people, then I am trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah.
And even that is a belief, to be honest.
Um, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that I've learned myself.
Yeah. So what is in between trauma and no trauma?
Healing, time.
Yeah. And what is in between being and not being?
Nothing, actually.
Feels light, huh?
Yeah.
See you laughing. It's like there's a lightness, right? Like
Mm.
the head kind of blanks out, right? Or is it still very active?
Um, no, it's yeah. My mind is quieting. I don't know exactly
Yeah.
the right
Quieting.
word.
Yeah. Yeah. And how is that in that quietness?
Then I feel that I am me.
Can you find you? Can you locate, oh, there is me? Or is it actually quite difficult to say where is you actually? Like,
Oh yeah, that's my constant challenge to if I lose myself for whatever reason, um, then the only thing that keeps on going is how do I find myself again?
mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, froze again.
Froze again. Okay, so I
Yeah.
said like you talked about myself, so that's me. So what is in between me and no me?
Um, if I define like the know me as the version of me that's not happy, uh, then know me is uh, yeah.
Wouldn't of it. What if you go to the middle? Whatever we talk,
But the middle
but
is the
what if you
happy
go
middle.
in between words and no words?
Uh, but in my opinion, there is no
There is
middle.
no.
No, because I can be connected with myself, or I can be disconnected. There's no like in between.
The mind cannot conceive.
No, the in between are the 1 and 2 seconds where I feel that I'm reconnecting to myself.
And even that is a belief, right? Even that is a it
Yeah,
itself.
it's the change. It's the change of a habit. I mean, being disconnected
It's a
is
change,
something that I've learned, but that's not my truth.
yeah, from past experience.
Yeah.
So now we're in that sense with the thought going back to the past, and based on that, we form the now. But what if you don't do that? What if you don't go back to the past and we don't go
Um,
further into the future,
mhm.
knowing that all time is an illusion,
Yeah.
that there's only now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my main goal for everything that I do, to not lose myself in either past or future, but just always be in the now.
Mhm. And what if the thoughts is what brings you out of the now?
But
And the thoughts are actually just, as we would say in Dutch, baked air. it's
yeah, of course. Yeah.
it's illusional in that sense. It doesn't have content in that sense. And so what is in between thoughts and no thoughts? What is in the in between? And this the mind cannot get. The mind cannot grasp it
No.
and tries to come up with words, but it doesn't know. Because how can that be known? The mind blanks out, the mind doesn't. And in there, what is in there? So with me, in there is clarity without words. And there is a peace and a natural flow
Yeah.
and a kind of freedom from all the thoughts that
Mm.
just get me away from what is actually here, that make me go into the illusion of time. It doesn't even exist. There's only this now
Mm. Yeah.
because we create it with the thoughts.
Yeah.
Because what is in between? How can we even see it? But there is a kind of clarity. There is a kind of a freedom from that illusion in that sense. And even what I'm all saying is that they're just words because I cannot say. I don't know. Because everything the mind comes up with is,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
baked air. Seems like it has something because it's baked, but it doesn't really. So
Yeah.
what is here when there's not the ping pong going between past and future and past and future, past and future, but you stay, the net in between with the ping pong,
Mm.
the place in between me and no me.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome place to be.
It's a pretty awesome place to be. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
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 So what if in that place, what if we only have now? And in that place, there's only now because there's not the distraction of the thoughts. If you don't go back into the past and forth into the future, then there is no suffering
Yeah.
because it's just a creation of the
Mm.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that happened, and because of that, I should develop myself, personal development. I should grow. I should do this. I should whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But it's also, I mean, um, it's easy to say I want to stay in this place, but if there's trauma that needs to be healed, you need to go back.
That, my dear, is a belief. I'm not saying you are true or not true. I'm just saying that that is a belief. I believed it
And for
myself.
me, for me, it's an experience.
Ah,
Because if you uh, well, I don't need to explain.
yeah.
You
But
can't.
you
I,
can,
I
in that
don't.
sense, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for me it's possible. I can't ignore pain. I
No, of
cannot.
course. That is ignoring pain in that sense can be spiritual bypass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not possible. I mean, it's possible for
It's
a lot of
possible.
people to do that,
People
but
do
it's
it.
not. Yeah,
It's
but
possible.
I cannot do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want it because it doesn't serve, right? What does it
No,
serve you to
it
suppress something?
yeah, it creates like a false a version of me that I don't want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe that being in the now is something that you can um, that you at a certain moment you will achieve
What if there's
because
nothing to achieve?
well maybe it's a present that you get. You don't have to go back to the future or the past, or you don't have to hide yourself in the future anymore.
Mhm, mhm. If time is an illusion, why should you go back into the past? And should you go further into the future? If time is an illusion and there's only this now,
Mm.
then what
Well,
happens
I've
is actually by the
I've lived.
thoughts a recreation in the now of what should be or what needs to be worked on or what needs to be healed, trauma, whatever. And I'm just saying this out of I believed it. I really believed it. You know about the past work that I did, which is about personal development, about healing, about all that stuff. Until I came to realize, and it's not even a realization, because the mind cannot, in that sense, really get it. But here, everything is already here, and you've
Yeah.
already heard that, of course.
Mm.
Um, and there is no need to go into spiritual bypass or any kind of bypass or suppression, because in this now anything can be welcomed. So it can be
Yeah.
that there's pain and that you feel the pain,
But the pain is
but
from the pain is it's created somewhere in your past. You only feel it now. In that
that I
sense,
believed, and I don't anymore. And you can still believe it, and I also did. And I'm not saying that I know the truth, that this is absolute wisdom. I'm just saying that in the now there are feelings, but with the story connected to the past, which is illusion, which is just a thought game, the mind game, going back.
mm,
Oh, this is because of this. Oh, and because of this, I should heal. Because this is what happened with my father, which was very painful. I now have to go through that because it also feels very real because you can access cell memories and all that kind of stuff. And I really believe that. I graduated as a journey practitioner, journey therapist, which is about cellular healing, healing the cell memories and all that kind of stuff. Until I'm like, it's all an illusion. If there's
yeah, but
pain,
you can
there is pain. But the story that is connected to the past, knowing that all time is an illusion, is just there's a now. There's only a now. In a now, we can feel all kinds of things.
yeah
But with the story, it becomes heavy. It can be coming. There can be a suffering. There can be the whole story is not needed. It is, in that sense, baked air, and the beliefs coming with that. Because in this moment, here now, what do you believe? If you cannot access the past and the future, what do you believe? Is
um
there even any belief?
no, there isn't.
Yeah.
But I'm able to do that because I've done a lot of work.
But that's still a belief, my dear. And I believed it too. And there's total humbleness here that I know shit. And here in the now, if I'm truthful with myself, there is no belief. And the only belief that could be coming in is that connected to the past or to the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I create
Yeah.
that with the thoughts, with the mind. Because here there is, it's almost like being a child.
But if what you are telling me now, if I told you these exact words 15 years ago, would you have um, your reaction would be different?
It will be a total new thing for me. It will be, I don't even know. I don't know how I would have reacted.
No, because you were a different person then than you are now.
There was the character, in that sense, the me, would be different.
Yeah.
But essentially, is there any different? Any difference? Is there this that is here that I cannot even name? It's untouched by all of this.
Mm, yeah.
And I really also see what you're pointing to, the danger in that sense of, oh, I just am, or whatever. When we can say all kinds of words for that that cannot even be put into words, but from that there can be, oh, I just am, and there can also be from that like suppression, like spiritual bypass, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I can also
when
follow you.
in that sense you're just in the middle of it all, without what you are without words, what you are without language, what you are without
Mm,
any beliefs, then there is a space where there's no need for suppression. There's not even a need to welcome anything, because that's even an idea, a belief.
yeah.
There just is, and there can be
Yeah.
pain, there can be sadness, there can be happiness, there can be joy, there can be angriness, whatever. Without the story, without past and future, without, they're just things happening.
Mm, yeah. Because they lose their then if you're angry, you're just angry. You're not in the middle of some kind of story from your past anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But
So in
I
between
mean,
all of
we
it, hmm,
um, I think that's the process of like rebirthing.
yeah,
That I'm sort of in the middle of something like that,
hmm,
where I'm relearning myself to yeah to basically just be a baby who's able to drive a car.
yeah, a baby who's able to drive a car. I love
Yeah, something like that.
that. Yeah,
Consuming things and
yeah.
yeah,
It's going
yeah,
back to that innocence, to that not knowing.
yeah, yeah.
Without these beliefs, without all of that, there's not anymore the chain connected to past and to future.
No,
Because
because
a baby is just there. If a baby is sad, they're just right. They're just crying and just ah. And then there's a kid. He's like, oh, okay.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it just happens.
yeah,
So in that, there is no suffering really.
Yeah.
because it's just feeling without the story, without the I have to heal from the trauma. Oh, um, maybe I will be out of money, so I gotta right. There's a suffering coming in, an anxiety. With no
Mm.
future, there's no anxiety.
Yeah.
With no
Yeah.
past, there's no depression, no suffering in that sense.
Yeah.
And the only reason why we're creating that is because of the thoughts. But it's all an illusion at the time.
Mm. Yeah.
And that what is here was always staring us in the eyes. The freedom. And
Yeah.
even that
But
is a word. So I cannot put it in words. I'm just pointing to something and don't take all my words seriously even in that sense. Don't take it just for what it's presenting because I'm pointing to something that I cannot even point to. But
mm.
in that, I've never felt so free in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is very liberating to be in your own center where you're like you can see the world as one big miracle, and everything that happens is, oh, why am I crying? Oh, why am I angry?
Yeah,
Why? Well, yeah, you're just curious about what you're experiencing
yeah,
instead of um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mm. There's some shouting going on here.
Some shouting.
Some peop- Yeah, we have a kind of a difficult character in the group today, so
Oh,
yeah.
I don't hear it. So
Oh, good. Very nice.
yeah, there's a meowing at my side, so I'm going to let her in, and then I come back.
Okay. Yeah.
The queen. Hello, my queen. Come on in. Yes, guys. Come on. Come on. The queen just entered the house.
Mm, yeah, of course. You can't ignore her.
And I'm also going to put this. Your voice is coming from there, so what is here now when you cannot go back and forth, when you cannot do the mind ping pong in between me and Nomi?
The only thing that remains now is the fear of uh, something happening that will take me back, that which takes me out of the place where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even that, my dear, is a belief that there's something that will take you out of that.
Yeah, but it's
The
also
thought.
I
It's a
mean
thought.
it happens so many times that I have to regain my trust in just experiencing that it won't happen again. That's the only thing there
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. And that also is a thought, which which gets you away from what is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you without that thought?
I don't know yet because it's still here.
What is still here?
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how is the fear, like how is it to experience the fear in what you are without the thoughts? In between thoughts and no thoughts.
Mm. Mm. That's a difficult one because the fear is, I mean, I feel it in my body that
Hmm.
there's so much um, stressed and so much
Yeah.
that's still, um, there's a lot of tension,
Yeah.
and that tension needs to get, I need to get it out of my system because it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And what if you don't, right, have to suppress it, but also not even have to welcome it? So in that sense, there's also no having to get it out. There's just,
Um,
what if the fear here in this,
mhm.
there's just fear. And if it's
Yeah,
not connected to the past and the future, and if there's no thought that you have to do something with it, how is it then? This fear.
yeah, that's just I'm sick.
Yeah,
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 and I find that very difficult
yeah.
to just be ill.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
When I was in the hospital, there was a man in the room opposite me, and he was in a much worse state than me. Um, and I was sort of jealous on him because he was just able to be sick. He was
Hmm.
on morphine and like he couldn't move. The nurses had to turn him once every 2 hours to his other side so that he didn't get any bruises from laying on one spot at a time. And I was just jealous because why can you be so sick and just be sick and I and yeah, my own sickness in is mostly in my head, and of course my body was also I was not feeling well. But yeah, I really struggle with just being sick and um, trust that other people will take care of me.
Hmm. Yeah. Can so imagine that this is a very challenging situation.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And once it's all behind, it will be might be a life lesson. But at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, it's pretty hard.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, you froze
She wants to
again.
say yeah.
Oh,
Hi. Maybe she also wants to say hi to you.
Mm,
And even that's a story. So without the thoughts, right? Without the she's taken over. She's taken over. Face funny. So without the thoughts, right? Without the back and forth future past, being in this with whatever's here, whatever what you feel, whatever, in that the real suffering uh, to that, to the past, to the future. And in this, in the middle, you without the words, the thoughts, the concepts, the ideas of how it should be, of whatever, right?
mhm,
Without all of that, there just is. And even that's a word. Even that is in that sense saying too much because it cannot be put in words. But in that, there are feelings, emotions.
yeah,
There's a flow. But from there can also be a clarity because with all thoughts going on, it can be such a chaos, right? And without all of that, when that quiets down, when there's just this, there is an immediacy, there's a moving out of itself, which can be way easier than from beliefs, from thoughts, from ideas of how it should be or what happened and why this is, right? That whole mind game, it's can be irrelevant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So what is here? Is here now?
Um, I feel there's an invitation for me to really let it sink in that uh,
Mm.
there is only now.
Mm. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
I need to learn, or I want to learn to trust myself that I'm always able to do the things that really need to be done.
Mm. Mm.
And that's enough.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Oh dear. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I'm getting there. I mean, I've um,
Mm.
next Tuesday is my next chemo, and I still don't know if I'm gonna do it. I'm also like I have still 5 days, and they feel like an eternity, in
Mm.
which everything can happen. So much can change in the meantime. So I know I'm getting there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a wish for you that this makes things easier, right? That from this clarity, you
Yeah,
can
it does.
you can just
Uh,
make different choices, not because of oh what could be in the future or whatever, but just from the now, from here,
mm,
there is a flow that leads you to
yeah,
whatever is good for you right
yeah,
now. And
yeah. And it's a strange
there's
thing because the only way to get to that point was to get very sick. Otherwise, I would never have got there.
mm, 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 yeah, yeah. And in a sense that can be so true, and in a sense it can also be totally not. And I'm not
No, of
saying that
course,
I
but
know,
it's.
but I'm
I
just
mean,
saying that also that in itself is a belief. And there's an invitation that what if that would fall away? And even falling away is also a concept, but by lack of better words, if all the beliefs, right, all that has been hold on to, all the thoughts, whatever, and essentially there's also nothing to have to fall away because if you know if there's a knowing beyond knowing from the head, right, that the thoughts and the beliefs and all that is irrelevant.
yeah, but sometimes it helps.
Of course,
Sometimes it's better
practical
to
thoughts,
believe.
right? If you're in the supermarket and you gotta pay, of
Yeah.
course it's but that's a thought that you choose in that sense, right? That's a thought on demand. That's because now I have to make a choice, and that's
Mm,
from the now. Okay, I want to go this direction or this, right? From that flow. But many people have thoughts totally not related to what is here right now, right? And that is
mm,
also thoughts that are not, they're just coming, right? It's just garbage.
yeah.
It's having the TV on that just blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Well, I.
all of that can fall away with the also the beliefs connected to that. And that's from this freedom, from this peace, from this clarity, right? This quietness that you also named, from there is movement
Yeah.
that serves you, right? That
Yeah.
yeah, and that in that there's essentially there's nothing to do. And of course, in this world, we want to do stuff. And in your situation, I can so imagine you're like, of course, I want to do something. Like if I would be faced with this, I would want to do something in that sense, right?
Mm.
There's an immediacy like, okay, this is not right for me. So I want to make choices. And what I'm suggesting in this and feel for yourself what fits for you, right? I'm not saying I know. Um, but when all the beliefs and thoughts all essentially it's all thoughts, the beliefs and the ideas and whatever. And when that falls away, there
Yeah,
is the flow. There is a flow.
yeah. But that flow is like a baby learning to talk or learning to walk. It's just a natural thing that happens.
It's just natural. It's just flowing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And they can be crying, right? Like the baby does. But a baby, like when I see a baby crying, it doesn't look so intense as I sometimes see adults crying or like I cried myself. Like I have I have made myself cry in front of my girlfriend at that time. Um, I lived together, and we were in a relationship for three years and 3 months. And every time there was a moment like the relationship would be was about to like come to an end, or things became more difficult, or I even made myself cry. Like I made myself really small and like going to a victim mode, like as if I couldn't live without her. Like
Mm, yeah.
because I had the story that that connection was needed. I needed to do everything to keep that going. But it's just a story. I did everything for that connection in that sense. Not everything, but I did a lot of stuff for that. And like there was even a partially um to be very honest with you, there was even a partially natural, but also not so natural, like 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 really when at the point like we would go out of each other, like the connection would break, we would go out of the relationship, that there came like a vomiting, like movement,
Mm,
like
yeah,
even that, like which is so connected to what I believed, right?
mm,
Because I couldn't take that breaking. I couldn't. Um, but essentially, without that story, of course I can take it. Without all the stories, of course,
yeah, yeah,
just keeping me small,
yeah,
keeping me in. I kept myself in a cage in that sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, relationships are for most people cages, and
can be. Yeah,
yeah. I'm glad we can discover that we can also free ourselves from that cage and still have good relationships, or probably even better. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It can be a cage, and
yeah. And you also need to feel that cage, because if you don't feel it, you cannot free yourself.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, but that's even a belief, right? That is even that this should be happening in, and I also believe that. And right now I'm in the I don't know, and it feels
Mm,
so freeing
yeah,
because do I know? That's just a thought.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't. But it is also um but it can be nice, right? To look back and to have a kind of recap. It can be nice to in that sense go from the absolute knowing, and that's not even a knowing, but from the absolute, because we're like a lot talking about absolute, but in the relative, like in the sense absolute, there is no time. But in the relative, we really seem to experience it like that. It
Yeah.
seems so real. It feels so real. It's like, what are you talking about? There's no time. Like a lot of people on the street, if you would say that there's no time, they're like, I did something yesterday, right? Because it feels so real.
Yeah. And of course, it's also a belief, but it's a very
What
liberating belief.
what is what is a
That
belief?
that there is no time. In the end, it's also a belief, but
In
it's
the
the
end,
most,
that is also a belief.
yeah, but it's a
That's
very,
so true. That's so
yeah,
true.
but it's the most liberating relief that I've ever
Yeah.
experienced. So I'll stick to that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and even that there's no like I can hold on to that, but that also doesn't serve in that sense, right? Because that's also a thought, a concept, a
Yeah.
belief.
Yeah.
Um, so what is essentially here is I don't know,
Yeah.
and it feels so freeing to not know,
Hmm. Yeah. Certainly.
to not be that busy with the um with the future and with the past and all that kind of stuff,
Mm. Yeah.
and to just flow from here. And of course, I can make plans, right? And right now it's not that to it has to happen, right? Like
No.
I can make a plan, and if
Yeah.
it happens or not,
So it's both okay. Yeah.
and it can be that there's sadness connected to that, um, and it can be not even, and it can be in the strangest moments. And yeah, I'm going to be very honest with you. Yesterday was the first time in my yeah, it was the first time I wanted to say in my life, but it was the first time that I drove away from the woman that I called my love, and I still
Hmm.
love also to say that. And she this weekend said that she doesn't want to continue the relationship.
Hmm.
And I there was already a sense that it was coming, and we also talked about this a couple of times. And so there was a kind of preparation, whatever we call it, to it. And I told you also about like a past relationship, um, where I was in that place of so afraid to to be alone,
Mm.
and now, and I did all these things, and now, to be very honest with you, and it was very strange in that sense also for me when the head kicks in, right? When head is like, I should cry, right? I should, and I felt only love.
Yeah,
That was the truth. Only love.
because I want to enter this relation is also just a story, and tomorrow it could be a different story.
Of course,
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
but there is a in that sense in the relative, is there a reality to it, as in the relative a relative reality to it, as in she doesn't, of course it can be that today she says I still want to continue, could be, and it could be not. So in that sense I also don't know, right? And earlier in I also made a video about it on, that's the first video on my YouTube, and where that is some months ago, where we were in a forest, and that was really the first moment that she was like, I don't know if that was really the first moment that we really were confronted with, that she said, I don't know if I want to continue this. And at
Hmm.
that moment there were a lot of tears, but there was also the love saying, if this is what you want, then I fully want you to support you in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was there was a fear at that moment, and there was a choosing love, was a choosing of not to go into that.
Yeah.
Um, and you could say that's a bypass, but the fear was welcome, and I chose the love.
Yeah.
And from where I am now, there just is. And sometimes it's weird with the hat. I'm like, the hat could be like, why didn't I cry? But that's an irrelevant thought because this is what is here. And there
Mm.
was, I'm just so full of love for her
Yeah.
and towards her, right? And yeah, that is what is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then still, it's strange to hold her in tears
yeah,
and to
of
not
course.
be tearing myself, but it was really touching, and there was so much. Yeah, there was only love. There were no tears.
Yeah.
Um, because whatever happens happens.
Yeah. I've been through this so many times, and I've learned so much from it. And she's asking for space, and if you're able to give that to her,
Yeah.
then
Oh, yeah.
then
Right.
then you're the one
Hmm.
who's allowing this relationship to change.
Yeah.
It's not ending; it's just changing because you're giving her the space that she's
Yeah.
asking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. And the form does end, right? As in right now, the form does end. And what the
Yeah,
future holds, we don't know. Maybe we come
it
together,
doesn't
maybe
end.
not.
It doesn't end. It changes because
Yeah, but yeah, okay,
she's
it
still your
changes.
just
It
yeah.
flows. Yeah, but the
It's not a it's
relationship in that sense, the relationship ends and there's the going towards friends. That's what we both long for.
yeah,
And in that formation, in that forming, there is a transition, right?
yeah,
So you could
yeah,
say it ends, you can say it not ends, but there's a transition. Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah. That's one of the biggest things I think in relationship, to allow changes to happen and to ask yourself. You can choose to put some kind of wall between you, because she is asking something difficult of you, or you can say, no, if you need this, then I will give it to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, because the difficult, right? That she's asking something difficult, that is still a belief. That is difficult.
yeah. And once you decide, okay, I will give it to you, then it's not difficult anymore.
Also,
Yeah,
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 yeah. But it can also, in the first place, only be difficult when there's the belief that it's difficult, right?
yeah. Because you've never done it before, so it's difficult. Okay, probably. I mean, that's how I experienced it. Like, I cannot give you this because it's too difficult, and then
Rose again, right?
yeah.
Okay. I was like, okay, we'll just wait. Yeah, and felt like, okay, but what do we want right now, right? From this. And then then something came out of that I've never experienced that. And it
Mm.
feels
Mm.
it feels so much more loving and so much more freeing and so much more what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
What we need is a line that does this because we want to make the transition from um, a partners, right, man and woman in that sense, to friends. We can also do this because right now w- we feel confident in that sense with staying with ourselves in that because in the past if I would have done this there's a pretty high chance that I would have stayed
Yeah.
because of the fear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta hold this on together. I gotta hold this together. And now there's whatever happens,
Mm.
there's a
Yeah.
freedom from this.
Yeah.
What is here? There's freedom. Um, and in that sense, I'm not coming in between because earlier my ego, the personality, the character came in between
Yeah.
with the fear. Like, oh, what if that were right? And I'm still able to feel fear if it's here, but there is an untouchedness of all of that. And from there
Mm.
I move
Yeah.
in that in between, right?
Yeah.
Between me and no me.
Yeah.
There's okay. And yeah, it's just beautiful to do it this way. And now we're also finally both able to do it this way.
Yeah.
Without the hard cut, without, oh no, we're not going to see each other anymore and sometimes fuck you, right? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's no need for that, for all of that. And there's also no need to say, well, I love you, but now now lights out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that really I love you, right? Is that really, oh, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think that giving each other space is you can do it in two ways. Or you're giving each other space to be very close together, somewhere in between some very lovely sheets doing all the things. And there's the other way, like I don't want to see you anymore. I want to travel the world. I need to be with another man. Whatever. That's the other side of
yeah,
I will give you the space to do your thing.
yeah,
Yeah. And if you can handle everything that's in between, then you're good forever together.
yeah, yeah. And so how is it in for you in connection with what you're facing in your body right now, right? The cancer and that stuff and the connection.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a big story. I know I got sick because or yeah, yeah, stories. Um,
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. How you're tracking yourself in that.
yeah, yeah.
Entertain in that sense ourselves with stories, right?
Let's
And
say
this
that
probably is
that
not so entertaining, this story, probably, I can imagine. But if it's not entertaining, if it's not serving you in that sense, why hold on to the story? And still, you can speak about it, but it's just knowing what it is and you see it. It's just a thought.
mm,
I just
yeah.
felt kind of important anyway to say it. But sorry for interrupting you. Just go on.
Well, yeah, it has been important for a long time, and now I'm like, I don't want to tell that story because it doesn't serve me anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I know I got on this path of learning how to be myself because I thought I had something with I had something with two guys at the same time. They
Hmm.
thought they weren't, and now, yeah, I am me. Thanks to thanks to them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then that's yeah, that's the part that they play in this story. I'm just glad that I'm not angry with them anymore
Yeah.
because I've been for a long time.
Oh. Hmm. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And is there other questions? Is there anything you want to talk about or whatever. Even though Q&A in that sense doesn't make any sense because I don't know too. But we can at least talk about things and talk about that which cannot be talked about and point towards and whatever.
Mm. No, I think I'm kind of finished, sort of.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always glad when I'm at a point where I don't have any questions anymore, because then I'm at peace with myself.
Yes, I'm so happy. It's beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Well, I have to be, because I've got like a Buddha head now, or a monkey monk's head with my quills shaped up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's like really the
the
one thing that really surprised me. Like, I can have this. It's sort of
yes,
it's sort of natural in a way. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, you're you're frozen with your hands in your hair.
I forgot. So I wanted to say you do wear something, right? Like something that keeps you warm, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
what
yeah.
is it in English? Um,
I have no idea what muts is in English.
the things that keep you warm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm also getting used to not wearing anything indoors. I was in the first days. I was like, I don't want to shock people. Let's put something in my head, and I'm
Oh,
sort of. I've always also slept without a nightcap and a cap on this last night, and it's yeah. But outside, I've ordered a whole bunch of different colors, hats, and so on. So I can have something to experiment with over the winter.
oh, beautiful. The hats. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's beautiful to owning. There we go again. Connection. There
yeah.
we go again. There we went again. I said it's beautiful to see how,
Still can
yeah.
understand.
I said like it's beautiful to see how you're owning it in that relative sense,
Mm,
right? Like,
yeah.
yeah. And and how was it for you? Like the moment to cut?
Um, I the first like really big bunch of hair that lost was on Wednesday, and on Friday I had a meeting with a local hairdresser who makes wigs and sort of thing, and she sort of said to me, "Don't you want to shave it off?" And I could do it at the store over there, but it was too short notice. And at the end, I got a how do you call such a thing? I have no idea. Uh, on Sunday and Sunday evening, I did a little test, like what
Hmm.
happens to me if I take the first piece off and nothing happened. I took a second piece off and also nothing happened. And then I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. And I got
Wow.
yeah, yeah, very very strange, but I immediately felt that it was kind of liberating.
Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Wow.
because
That's beautiful.
the funny thing, I never liked my hair so very much. I
Hmm.
only liked it when I was had a good day and I had time to put stuff in it, and the curls were like really bouncy, and they were, then I felt like my hair was my own. But so many times it didn't, and also my curls to me are something like my flexibility, which I've used in a lot of ways that were not supporting me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I've held on to a lot of people, um, because, and I kind of could do that because of my my ability to always move with situations without losing to prevent me from losing someone. And now I'm sort of curious about what kind of flexibility I will get in return. So what's my new way to just go with the flow and be flexible in life without damaging myself. Yeah. So it's not just hair. Of course, there's a story behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's always been something on the background. When the thoughts are not here, it's not even on the background.
Mm,
It's- yeah.
yeah.
And it seems like, based on what you said, that you were already from such a already, and of course you know it from moments, because in a kind of sense, everyone knows this, but it's just that we get caught up in the thoughts and distractions and things so that we don't know what's staring us in the face.
You know with your
Touch,
brain
right?
because uh, there's a difference in knowing with your brain and knowing with your body and with your heart.
Yeah,
And the brain knowing is why you want to get to this state of human being.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was my watch for rounding it off. Yeah. What can we say? What can we say?
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I want to say right now is that it's sort of funny that we can also just pretend that this whole conversation never happened.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
I
So
feel that's kind of feeling very liberating if you can say that to each other. Let's pretend this
yeah, yeah, yeah,
never
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Didn't even happen. Beautiful. What are we without thoughts? And what is here? When the mind blanks out, there's only here, this, now. And in that peace, you call. We can pretend it never happened. It happened and it not happened,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.